You're watching the August edition of the Library Roadshow, everything you need to know about your local library system. Peggy Sweeney McDonald is no stranger to libraries. Her book, Meanwhile Back at the Café Du Monde, is sitting in pride of place all over the state. But Peggy is not just an author. She's drawn on her acting and production background to create a live show that shines a light on our own local food traditions. And she'll be sharing that with library patrons on Sunday, August 13th in a free show at the Main Library at Goodwood. So Peggy, food traditions are some of our most enduring memories.
Oh, yes.
And we define ourselves by our food and our celebrations around the table. Those are all those family memories that get handed down for generations. Where did Meanwhile Back at the Café Du Monde come from in the first place?
Well, you know, it was 7.5 years ago, the day after Thanksgiving, when my girlfriend shared her coconut pie and a bottle of red wine story with me, which was a funny story about how she drank a whole bottle of wine and ate the whole coconut pie that she was supposed to bring to her boss's Thanksgiving dinner the next day. Yeah. And when she told me that story, I was like, you know, tell my mom, tell my cousin, tell my niece over the weekend. And I said, this is like, you know, would be a really great monologue show where people would share life stories around food. Mm-hmm. Not how to cook red beans and rice or gumbo, but more about life around food.
That's right.
So I had the idea, and I was an event producer, ex-actress, was still an actress, always an actress,
mm-hmm.
you know. And I thought, well, let me create my own event, but we got to do it at restaurants because you got to eat and drink, you know. So
and not worry about the actual cooking and cleaning.
So originally, the first show was 2010 at the Myrtles Plantation.
Fun.
And we had a cocktail party, and then we went in and did the show. And then it just exploded. We ended up doing the show in New Orleans and at House of Blues in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Natchez, Jackson, Mississippi, Shreveport, Baton Rouge, New Orleans. I mean, it went everywhere. And it's been over, I guess, close to 85 shows since it started.
That's a lot of food.
With over close to 400 foodies sharing their food stories. And it's not just, you know, chefs and restaurant owners. I've had people from all walks of life. And of course, in this show, it's the first show we've ever done at a library. And we just did the 7th anniversary show at the LSU Museum of Art. And now this show is going to be here at the library, which is really great for the bicentennial of Baton Rouge.
Right.
And it all started in Baton Rouge. So it really is a project that's close to Baton Rouge's heart. It's touched so many Baton Rouge people. So this show coming up on August 13th at 6 o'clock here at the library.
That's a Sunday, so you don't have, you know, you're relaxed already.
Yes.
Come on.
And it's a family-friendly show. So bring your kids, I mean, bring your grandmothers, and everybody loves these food stories. So we have Smiley Anders.
Got to have Smiley.
Smiley's been in the show multiple times, and he is in the book. This is the book, Meanwhile Back at Café Du Monde, which is 67 of the food stories, and Smiley's in here. Also, Franz Borchardt, if you know Franz, he created Go Baton Rouge and Baton Rouge brunches, and he just did the Mac and Cheese Fest.
Yes.
I mean, he does all these amazing foodie events. So he's going to be in it. He's an attorney too, so he's a character for sure. Cara Castellet with The Heavenly Donut. She was just in the anniversary show. She's adorable, and she'll be bringing donuts. So
I'm ready now.
You got to come. Teresa Day, who is the food writer from the Baton Rouge Advocate. I have been trying to get Teresa in the show for years, so I'm really excited that she's finally going to be in the show. Fairleigh Jackson, who's the executive director of Preserve Louisiana. And I just hosted a tour with Preserve Louisiana and Fairleigh to Natchez back in January. And so Fairleigh was in the show in Natchez at Dunleith Plantation, and she has a great food stories, and she's adorable and such a lovely, lovely friend now. Jerry Leggio, the actor.
We know Jerry.
And Jerry's in the book too. So Jerry's been in lots of shows. And Jim Urdiales, the chef owner of Mestizos. Now Jim was in the original show at the Myrtles Plantation. He's been in the show, and sometimes he brings his mom, and she tells a Cajun joke. He brings her up on stage. She's fabulous because she's such a part. His parents are such a part of his food story.
Well, they would have to be, especially with
they had one of the first Mexican restaurants in Baton Rouge, and now Jim has Mestizos. So, and his father still comes and brings him food
Oh, that's
He
great.
comes to see Jim at the restaurant and brings some food.
Oh,
And
that's something.
too funny. So he has great stories. So he'll be in the show too. So it's a great group. And then we introduce everyone. If you were a food, what would you be and why? So that's a great way to show their personalities. And I'm actually working with some kids here with a teen workshop.
Yeah. So tell me about that.
So yes, I mean, because of you said this would be a great idea, because I did the show with a charter school in Los Angeles with 42 teenagers telling their food stories. So now we're doing the teen workshop, which I hope it's going to be an ongoing thing, and maybe we'll do it again, because the teens have amazing food stories. And yesterday was the first day, and we read If I Were a Food, What Would I Be and Why from the book, and then they started sharing If I Were a Food, What Would I Be and Why. So I think we'll probably ask people in the audience too, and get everyone involved to share that.
Mix it up.
Yeah, it's fun because people, the minute they hear that, they raise their hand. They're like, I know what I would be. I know what I would be.
Right, chocolate.
Chocolate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I say I would be a Godiva chocolate. I come in a gold shiny box with a ribbon on top. Sometimes sweet, sometimes nutty, sometimes bitter, but always a tasty treat.
That's good. That's good. Okay, so that's our own elevator speech about what we would be. I need to work on mine.
Yes. What do you think you would be?
Well, I would be some kind of chocolate ice cream. I'm thinking that way I get the best of both.
Yeah, everybody loves chocolate ice cream, especially in the summer.
Yeah,
right?
maybe mint chocolate chip. We'll see.
Yes.
All right, so we know what's going to happen at the library during the show. I'm excited to see what the teens do on their own efforts, because that's a kind of a creative exercise, a writing exercise, and a producing exercise that they're going through, which I love. We love to keep those teen minds active over the summer. And it's a nice way to end the summer. Like you said, we've got the bicentennial year, so we were thinking the bicentennial is not just about the history of Baton Rouge, but our food history, our sports history, our music history.
Yes.
And what's more intimate than our histories and our memories coming from the table
around food? And the food stories, they're like about life, love, family, loss. They'll make you laugh. They'll make you cry sometimes. Some of them are so touching when the people talk about their grandmothers who are now, or their mothers who are now passed on. Those food, everybody can relate to that.
Sure.
And Pelican Publishing did the book, and you guys carry it at the library.
They're all checked out.
It's now in the second print, and it has 67 mainly Baton Rouge foodies are in the book. So it's been it's been a tasty journey.
Are you going to bring copies of the book that night?
I think so. We'll have some, and then it's also, I say, it's the gift that keeps on giving. The beignet gets bigger and bigger and sweeter because of all these food stories, and it's never ending.
That's wonderful. All right, so I'm looking forward to hearing from Baton Rougeans at our own production of Meanwhile Back at the Café Du Monde. After the break, we'll be hearing from author Joy Williams, Olivia. Plus, we have book reviews with some of our youngest patrons. All that and more coming up next.